Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Challengers Patch Notes. Today we are having a look at Challengers Spain Rising, and in my opinion a region which could become a major region when we get to Ascension. A lot of big transfers, a lot of big names, and well, so much to find out about. I've got two lovely guests, and well, let's introduce them right now. Well, folks, let's get into it. Introduce our guests here. We'll start off with the man on the right, Sheffield's answer to Torres with that haircut. Obviously, on the Spanish roster, KOI, it's Mr. Bambino. I'll let you introduce your role, mate.
Hola, Bambino. I'm assistant coach and analyst at KOI. Currently on boot camp in Madrid, which is why I've got the scuffed setup. But I'm excited to be here.
Nice. And a second guest here, also a man from Spain. Actually, I think we're pretty blessed to have this man with us, considering he's just off the rip of 4 best of ones casted today. So thank you very much, mate. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello to everyone. I'm uLISES, a Spanish caster. I used to cast, well, I've been casting for 11 years on Spain, not only Valorant before I was doing League of Legends, and right now Valorant on BCL and BCT MEA.
Oh, nice one. And obviously we've got the boring man himself, has a JC. Yeah. How's it going, mate?
I'm KairoCast's housewife, and I'm here to talk about Challengers Spain.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the aim is. I think just before we get in though, I'll ask. We'll go to Bambino first and ask him how's the boot camp going, mate? Because obviously you're in Madrid. You know you've been enjoying the Spanish cuisine, the Spanish environment. How's that for you?
You know what? I really like Madrid. We went into the city the other day. I ate some tapas, which was very good. I recommend the patatas bravas to anyone.
Okay.
The only thing,
yeah. The only thing is I'm disappointed by the weather. I came to Madrid. I've got the shorts on. It's 4 degrees outside.
I've
been scammed.
No, you're not getting scammed. You're bringing to us the cloudy days.
Yeah, that's true. You know what?
As a British, you bring them.
Yeah. That's my bad.
uLISES, how was the best of ones as well today? I know Hazza was in the chat listening to you howl as Wilfin was playing, but sorry, I shouldn't mention that, but as certain players were playing. But how's is it good to be back casting challengers?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was missing it too much. I'm someone that I need to cast every single day of my life. If not, I'm not happy. So for all the waiting time, I was like, I need to cast. And today I went into 4 matches, so happy. And also, they bring us some surprises. So I'm happy to.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's a lot of surprises coming through from Challengers Spain. And I think, well, with that, we should get into the teams and see what surprises there is in store for us. And, well, first off, we'll start off with the biggest name, the newest name on the block, is Barcelona. We have KPZ, Maniac, is it Saith? Is that how I pronounce it? Scythe. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's great to have you here because you can correct me. Gardy, Vorwin, and obviously Mr. Lucas Rojo. We'll go to you first, uLISES. You were the one casting them today. I think they had a pretty positive result. So I'll leave it with you.
To be honest, I think it's one of the potential rosters to try to claim into the top 3 at least. I have to say that Maniac, as a Polish player, he's brilliant. I mean, he's a fucking maniac, to be honest. But he's brilliant. I mean, he's a good player. Yeah. I hope that he's hitting to PCT soon, but not only for him. Scythe and Guardi, both of them, are, for me right now, the 2 youngest players that are going to hit PCT at any time. They're so powerful individually, and also Guardi is someone that is shot calling. It's not the IGL, but is helping into Borwen, that is the IGL, making a good job. And what I can say, I mean, KPC, you already know it. You casted for a long time, and also Borwen. Both of them are great. I think that Lucas Rojo make a good job with his team.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. Bambino, is there anything that you want to add to that?
To be honest, this team surprised me a bit today. I mean, I expected this team to be a little bit more middle of the pack in terms of VCL Spain, just based on it was a roster that was formed a little bit last minute and things like that. But they surprised me today. They played really well. And I think Safe, yeah, not Vitality Safe. This guy.
You can call him Dino Kid also.
Dino Kid? Oh, that's so much cooler. Why has he changed his name?
I don't know. Dino Kid was not his name. His nick is always Side, but he used to play Arc. And his first shooter,
okay.
he started playing Baron like 2 years ago. And this is his first shooter, and his aim is so sick.
Nice.
But
He's
we
got
call
that,
him
like,
also the
Velociraptor
Dino
aim.
Kid.
Nice. Yeah, but him, I mean, he's been around the block in Spanish tier 2. Like, I remember this guy's name from years ago, and he was playing on like Bisons and teams like that.
Yeah.
Um, and I've always like watching him play. I think he's good at his role. So yeah, this team surprised me a bit today. I'll be interested to see how they can go forward. Obviously, Lucas Rojo is a very like experienced coach.
Yeah.
That guy's, all the way back to like G2 as an analyst. So if there's any coach that's good for probably like younger players and things like that, it's him. So I'm gonna keep a close eye on this team and let's see how they do. My prediction is still maybe top 4 for these guys. I don't know if they're gonna break into that top 3 with like some of the like stronger clubs, but
Yeah.
I'm open to being proved wrong on that one.
Definitely. Has plenty of Northern European boys in here as well. As uLISES was telling us, KPZ, Vorwin. I mean, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about, was it Scythe playing a little bit of Arc, but we've got former Fortnite pro FaZe Vorwin here, and yeah, I'm excited
He
to
was on
see him
FaZe?
back. Yeah, he was, right? The guy had so much clout when he came into Northern Europe. He was holding up the viewership by himself, that and Cuba, of course, for our focus boy, or former focus boy, KPZ. And I think, yeah, Vorwin had quite a bit of time off. He was in the off-season with Movistar Riders for a little bit. KPZ, he got cut because of focus making roster changes, of which it doesn't seem they've finished, but they're getting there, right? And they've moved to DAC now as well. But he was a player who I think always had some really high points, and maybe the low points overshadowed it at times, especially in the bigger fixtures. When it came to that final best of 5 against Apex that they played towards the end of Split 2, I don't think he could really be sat there kicking himself after that, because he really carried them through a couple of those important maps. So yeah, it's great to see these guys find a team. And not only that, Barca, I think it's important to talk about these guys as well. And it's something that I mentioned when we were watching the stream earlier, is to, carry a name with that kind of weight on your shoulders, to have an organization now, formerly as the football club represented in Valorant, is going to be a huge thing for the scene. And I'm really excited to see what they do in the space.
Yeah, everybody loves Barcelona. I'm going to throw this question into the mix, and the first person to jump on it can. But I was going to say, do you not think it's a little bit of a gamble, Lucas Rojo leaving Cassie, who were obviously top of the pops last year, to now going on towards a new roster, building it up from scratch?
They didn't want him. They brought in Owner, so it's not like he had a place to go, right? This is where he's ended up.
Yeah.
That's
To be
a
honest,
fair
I'd
point.
say he's falling on his feet here. To be honest, considering like, you get dropped from your team so close to the start of the split,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, now it's like all systems go. I have to find a team, and a club like Barcelona comes and sweeps you up. You're not gonna complain, So I think he's falling on his feet with this team.
And also, if you get the chance to get 2 younger players like Guardi and Scythe, that
Yeah.
every single Spanish team want them, and you can bring them into Borwen, someone that is getting in much more experience, plus Maniac, that is also so good player. And KP said that, I have to say that the first time I see KP said, and his first good team, I think so, was Movistar Riders with Lucas. That was the one who sing him off. To be honest, I trust this team.
Yeah.
I'm with Bambino. I think it at least should be a top 4.
Next one. Well, we'll see if they can certainly make it. And now on to the second team, who's also on also starting out. Five is it Five Media? Five Media Clan that they've came through. I'll go with to Bambino first with this team. Obviously, I didn't put the 2023 roster because they've played in a couple of tournaments with different rosters. I didn't know exactly which one was the concrete one, but I'll leave it to you, mate. What do you think with this?
Well, so this team's a little bit of an unknown to me. There's a couple of players that I know. So like I've seen play before. And I think Daniello I might have seen play before as well. But to be honest with you, this team is basically like a full unknown quantity to me. The approach of 5 Spanish is always going to be interesting, right? Because you're narrowing down your talent pool for the sake of like better comms and things like that. So really, like these guys for me could. I mean, they won the game today versus AYM.
Yeah.
But I think that that's also not like they're not the strongest opponent for the first game. So I'm reserving all judgment on this team until I see a little bit more. It would be nice to see a like full Spanish roster really do well in this VCL, especially because a lot of the LTR players
Yeah.
in the Spanish league are very good.
Yeah.
I think the Spanish league have some of the best like LTR, like
Yeah.
non, out of region
Yeah.
players. So it would be nice to see a full Spanish roster do well. Can these guys do it or not? I don't know, but I'm interested to find out.
Yeah. uLISES, I mean, I'll leave it to you.
To be honest, I have to say that five had to. Yeah, he make a good team. It's
Yeah.
a good team. First of all, Chris is coming the last 3-4 days, and also the coach. They had to make a last swap because the team was not performing the best.
Yeah.
And I have to say that maybe it was the best for the team because Crisis is someone that can bring some knowledge and also is helping. But being honest, five right now, I have to say that probably is one of the demotion teams with them. But they can try to reach the playoff because they have Human. Human is not a Spanish no player, but he used to compete also on Mad Lions on CS. And
Yeah.
at that time, when he was younger, all the time, every single one was talking about his same. He's a CKM, he's a good player, and now he's much more a veteran. And I think that he can bring this to the team. Mr. Carrito, Juno, and Danilo, three of them. I think they're young players with a lot of talent, but they still to be rookies. They have a lot to grow, up, a lot to try to bring the experience and try to not make common errors. His basics are not strong enough. But I think that this team could be a surprise. If someone can surprise from the bottom, at them.
Yeah. I mean, has a quick changes just before the split starts. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I'm in the same kind of position as Bambino, right? So I don't have too much experience with this list of names. I know was on UCAM before,
Yeah.
and another one of those players that had a stint in the off season with Movistar. So there is quality there to that extent, and I think with Hell in coach slot as well could be really important for this team. Uli saying they've only come in the last couple of days, but having prior experience on a team like Kase, for example, you're in such a professional environment. You know what it takes to succeed at this level. Hopefully that mentorship can be enough to carry them through. But again, it's one of those ones where you're never really going to know until you see them play.
Yeah, and I guess getting that first win against AYM, it's never going to hurt. The other team that uLISES is telling us that could be up for relegation. And speaking of them, we'll go to them next. They've made quite a lot of changes here, uLISES. I'll go to you again first to break this one down. But a first defeat and relegation candidates, it's not looking good, considering last year's form as well.
Being honest, even that Simply and Freen are good players, and I think that they deserve much more. I think that this same roster is the best aim roster I have ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, we are talking about a team that only hit 2 wins on the last year, on the whole year. So it's not a team you can trust that much. But I have to say that they went into young players that could be bringing some new fresh air for the team. Skyji, Mitchell, and also Mober. But I have to talk about Mitchell. Mitchell is probably one of the younger players with raw talent. Yeah, he has the biggest raw talent for sure. The first time I saw him, I used to make some tournament before Rising and Crossfire, every single Spanish competition,
Yeah.
just to promote the competition and also to build some narrative on the players. I never know about Mitchell. The first time I saw him, he was about to beat Mixwell on a 1-by-1. And after that, he hit into Crossfire. He went into playoff,
Yeah.
and he was hitting like 25 to 27 drops for every single game. He was playing so good, and I thought that Mitchell is gonna hit in a good team. Finally, he's sending on aim. I think he's lacking of experience, his lack of knowledge about competition
Yeah.
is not enough to get in a good team, but the raw talent is so high. I expect them to at least make maybe. I don't expect them to get all of the emotion, to be honest. I'm sorry for them, but I expect them to make a proper season.
Yeah. Bambino, I'll chuck it to you, mate.
So again, another roster I'm not fully familiar with.
Yeah.
I knew their old roster a bit more than this one.
Yeah.
But based on what uLISES is saying, I quite like their approach. Like you get a bunch of young raw talent in, and you nurture it, and it's a good opportunity for these guys, right? It's still VCL games. It's still tier 2. And so, like, you know, these younger talented players, this is the place where they're gonna learn, right? And sometimes it's gonna take getting battered about by some of the top teams in the
Yeah.
league for you to really learn and really fix your mistakes. So, do I think this team's gonna ascend? Probably not. But I think it's a good experience for all the players and the coach on this team to really kind of build their portfolios. And, you know, really all this team needs is a few big wins. Let's, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
if really they, you know, let's say they take a map off Barca, maybe they take a map off Case, something like that. That's huge for all of these players and for their future careers. So again, bottom of the table team, but you know, probably a little bit up to potential if you know what Ulysses is saying with all the young talented players, especially in a league with best of ones, anything can happen.
Hazza, I mean, not everybody can ascend, not everyone can beat towards those playoffs positions, and I guess if you've got a young roster, there's more potential for the future.
Yeah, this would certainly be the proving grounds to do it, and I think it's important that Bambino mentions its best of one as well, because like if a team isn't having their day and you turn up in the right mindset, the right mood, and you know win a couple pists around something like that, it can really make all the difference. So I think format kind of leans into what they want to do here as well. Obviously, they're here on merit; they won the relegation tournament. In terms of players, yeah, I can't really speak about the current roster. All I want to say is let's find my boy Fern a home, because he's been done dirty a couple times now. He left KOI, another sort of Spanish team that we had before, so he's had played in the region before, and then Human Tripwires got rid of him after one game. So let's give him some love. But for these guys, yeah, I mean it's just a huge opportunity. It's what they do with it.
I can't believe you've just passively aggressively attacked Bambino there, mate. Are you taking that? You're not even going to come back with anything there, Bambino?
No.
That was KOI, but pre-Bambino era, though, right?
Ah,
We're
That's true.
talking
yeah.
like
Post Bambino,
challenges,
Koi became
VRL
really
KOI.
Spanish, you know?
Man.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But we'll move on to the next one then, Rambo. And I think I'll probably stay with you, Ulysses, to get the background on everyone. Obviously, there's a little mistake in there from me. That's my bad. Didn't change the graphic on Nunmeister, but I'll leave it with you, Ulysses.
Well, no, Master is not bad. I really prefer to talk about loudly. I think RAMBOOT is potentially one of the teams that can make a surprise. Gianni, it's hard to say that he's one of the most talented players out of PCT on duelist role, because he used to play a lot of Jet, and with Jet he's a differential player. But I think he's someone that knows how to make the difference, how to make an open kill from the defense and even fall back. Kato individually is so good. Kamisek is John Pryor with a raw talent. I think these Polish guys are gonna bring some wins into Rumble. But also talking about Lowly. Lowly is bringing a lot of experience.
Yeah.
He's been competing for a long time. But if we talk about experience, I have to talk about Neptuno. Someone that's been
Yeah.
playing a final on Overwatch. He used to be one of the best CS 1.6 Spanish players. He used to be one of the best Spanish mid laners on League of Legends. I mean, he won on Counter Strike, he won on League of Legends, he won on Overwatch. He's missing to win Valorant, and he hit twice into two finals. So I think that Neptuno going into IGL is going to be something good for the team. And I think the roster is really good, but I don't know if they can compete against Sakase or even KPI or UCAM. It's so hard. I mean,
Yeah.
I think right now Rising is coming back into 2022 with a good level on mostly all teams.
Yeah, I definitely think that Challengers Spain Rising has really set the marker. I will get to that when we talk towards as you said, some of the later teams with UCAM and obviously with Cassie as well. Bambino, do you think Neptuno can add another stone to the Thanos gauntlet?
I actually do. For me, this is a top 3 team. And maybe that's a hot take. But I remember I played a little 5-stack with Neptuno one time, okay? I call him the young talent. The guy is over 30, but he shoots like he shoots like a 18-year-old that's had 4
He's awesome.
monsters.
Yeah.
Like he dropped 35 frags on Jet, and since then I'm sold. I'm sold on the man. The other interesting guy on the team that Ulysses mentioned as well is Katu. I remember 2 years ago, I was doing some scouting work for OG, and his name came up. And so he's been on people's lips for a while. And I think he's never really had the platform to kind of show his talent. But I like this guy, And I think with Neptuno on this team, and like you say, just the wealth of experience, like
Yeah.
having a guy who's played, Overwatch League lands and things like that. When you have like, some of these other guys that maybe, let's say, RAMBOOT make it to the grand final, and they're playing on the stage in Barcelona. Who's the man you want? We bring you guys in as a team and go, guys, it's okay, we got this. Stay calm. That's Neptuno. He's right there.
Yeah.
And so for me, I like this team a lot. This is a top 3 team for me.
Yeah.
Could
Has
be.
it? Oh, you going to say something there, Alice?
No, nothing. Just saying
Yeah.
could be.
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely. Hazza, again, I'll leave you to sprinkle your little seasoning on it.
Yeah, a few names in here that I recognise, and I'm happy that you guys have already added the meat and potatoes to the pot, being Neptuno, of course, because this is a player that we saw on Queso in
Yeah.
play-ins when you and I got the chance to cover
Yep.
that, and I think, like they said, he's played in multiple different games, but he's also got such a flexible agent pool as well. I think when you saw that final against Kasse like last year, he played out of the sort of 4 or 5 maps that were played, it was 4 or 5 different agents that he was
Yeah.
playing on every single map. Picked into the Viper today, and yeah, it was his breach, more importantly, I think, that impressed me the most. But just having that experience to build around is really good. The other player I want to speak of is the one consistent name within the roster, Janny. He's been on so many different teams in Tier 2. I feel like this is a name I've seen for ages, since he was part of For the Win, I think, like really early
Yeah.
on in Valorant's life cycle, and just having a place where he can really have a project around him that he's going to feel comfortable with and that he can be a part of, and it's not constantly like jumping ship, I think would be huge. So if these are the 4 players alongside him that are going to achieve that, then it would be great. And yeah, the experience that Neptuno has individually as well, I think could partner up quite nicely. So we'll just have to see how they perform. For me, probably like the inverse of Bambino, so like upper mid-table, but perhaps not knocking on the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously RAMBOOT Club, they've got quality there. Whether they can challenge the top teams, we'll need to find out. And this next team is a team that has been touted as one of the tops by everybody, even since its inception. It is KPI. Bambino, you were talking about LTR status. This team is essentially
Yeah.
an LTR team, so I'll leave it with you.
Yeah, like you say, the full Russian speaking Spanish team, I'm here for it. My player to highlight, and to be honest, I think I'm kind of gonna steal this one from you guys because I think he's probably like the star player on the team, but it's Purple.
Yep.
Yeah.
People forget that Purple also played on Gambit for a little while, right? He was
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
6th man on Gambit. He bounced around a bunch of tier 2 rosters for a while. But he's the definition of talent. And also, Smart 7 has been around the block. That guy's
Yeah.
coached a bunch of very good teams. And, I think there's something to be said for communicating in your first language. That these guys have somehow, through a bunch of LTR status, been able to achieve. This is a contending roster, for sure. And to be honest, in my power rankings, I've kind of not been sure where to put them.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, are these guys better than Barca? Are they not better than Barca? I don't know. But what I am certain of is that I think these guys are going to finish in the top half somewhere. But it could be anywhere from 1 to 4 for me, depending on their peaks and their lows, based on
Yeah.
the best of 1. But this is a strong team, and this could very easily contend, I think.
Ulysses?
Being honest, I think that there is a player that the people doesn't talk enough of him. Teddy maybe is not someone who's gonna be carrying your games, but it's someone that is not gonna miss anyways.
Yeah.
I remember him playing on Force. I remember him playing on Navi, and he always was making correct movements. He always bringing anything as a smoker, but he have had to talk from someone is Bisk. I think Bisk is right now, and I have no doubts, the best duelist outside of BCT. And to be honest,
Wow.
I don't know why Bisk is not on BCT this year. I mean, his last full 2023, he was hitting every single game on Rising more than 25 kills. Maybe there were 1 or 2 matches that he was not popping out. But normally he was carrying so hard the team every single game. He's so smart. He's someone that is bringing individual skills. He used to play a lot of duelists. He's flexible on that role. And to be honest, I think he's the best on the team. I mean, Purpo obviously is a role
Yeah.
talent that I can admire, but he has to give me the way to trust. I mean, like Sergio Ferrer is always selling us the
My goat.
illusion.
Yes.
Your boy. To be honest, I need that on purple for me because last time I see him playing on Mena, I didn't see his raw talent. I just see someone that was not even smurfing on a league that I expect him to be smurfing. But right now, I see the first match and I have to shut up because today he was carrying so hard. For me, today he was the MVP, not even Beast. Even the Beast maybe drops 2 or 3 more kills. Also, Dimax is a experienced player. He's a Portuguese player, but he also has Ukrainian roots, so he is able to speak in Russian. That's so good for the team, and they can keep one more LTR to be competing. It's a great team. I'm with Bambino. I'm not sure because, to be honest, right now, Case, UCAM, KPI, RAMBOOT, Barca. There is 5 teams.
Yeah.
ZETA is also a contender with a playoff. But who is gonna get on the top 3? KPI should be there.
Yeah. We heard rumours of this roster back all the way back in Ascension when we were in Berlin. That's like I don't more than 6 months ago at least. The fact that this has came to fruition is crazy.
Yeah, it's my favourite Spanish roster that we've got here. Big fan of this one. No, I don't know. I think there's a lot that can be said for how LTR ends up working out. And if you're trying to create a regional base, this is essentially the antithesis of it. When it comes to speaking about the team, however, I echo Uli's thoughts on Bisk. If you look at his numbers, they are absolutely insane. The guy, anyone that can put up those numbers, regardless of whether you have the team around you or not, there is a certain level of efficiency about it. And I think now with more of that support, players like Purpo, for example, who I think was a little bit hard done by the fact that he sort of left that focus team. Waddle coming in essentially did also facilitate Lewis's calling, I think, as IGL for that roster. But you couldn't really put anything against the individual performances that Purpo was capable of. And I think, as like a player with quite a bit of flexibility too, like the initiator, his KO was really, really good from what I remember. Yeah, this is a strong team overall, and you do expect them to be like top 3, kind of top 4 cut.
Yeah, definitely. I think like the ceiling for this roster is high, and as Bambino says, like it all depends on whether they can reach that ceiling or not, and perhaps break through it, make ascension. That's one for the future, and I'd argue another team that could potentially be one for the future. ZETA. I mean, I've got a lot of love for one of the players on the roster. We'll get to him later. But Uli, what are you thinking about what ZETA gaming are bringing to Spain?
It's hard to say about Theta because right now, this roster is so new. It's new. I mean, they just built it. They have a lot of talent. I mean, Fall is someone that used to IGL on Case after he went into MENA with Future, that is the coach, the future. He both were competing on RAD, making a good job. And also we have Roxy, ex-IGL for Case. I think there is a lot of information to try to keep the mid-run call, and it's not going to be easy to try to get this team down. Also, I have to say, I'm so happy. For the first time, we're bringing some British talent. Lear is one of them. And I'm so happy to see him because I think that Lear and Lime, both of them, are the youngest British players that have the talent to try to grow up and sometime at any time try to hit on BCT. To be honest, I don't know. For me, one of the things I'm messing up with this team is that Roxy and Fall, for me, are made to make the same role, to be the IGL. I don't see. I mean, maybe it's my mistake because I didn't see any of Roxy. But I didn't never see Roxy as someone that is going to be carrying a game. I see him as someone is going to be leading your game. Same for Fall. So you are having 2 players that are going to make the same role, but only Fall is making the IGL, Roxy is making the mid-run goals. Hashtag is a good Spanish player that never get to shine. He was competing on CS. And I remember that a long time ago, when Mixwell was competing on Movistar Riders, I'm talking about CS.
Yeah.
He was on Gamergy, like you went forecasting the Spank Nations. And we used to have on Gamergy also some place to play amateur Counter-Strike. He went to take a round and he was just looking at the players. And after looking some of them, he made a tweet. I saw so good talent on Spanish that maybe he's going to bring up at any time. Fitinho, now on Giants, competing in Worlds, on Champions. Yuri, that is competing on Casa right now. And Hashtag. those three names. Hashtag probably was the one who was bragging the more, but
Yeah.
I don't know how he never get to shine enough.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Bambino, obviously you're a person from the UK, so I'll ask you about Mr. Katy Perry up the top, Lear, who likes to run hot and cold. So, what are you
Yeah.
thinking
Oh,
about
man.
ZETA?
To be fair, I think I'm quite qualified to talk about Leah. So
Yeah.
we kind of were in the UK kind of circuit at the same kind of time.
Yeah.
So I never worked with him personally, but when he was playing on Vexed, I was on a team called Area, and those two teams would play each other all the time.
Yeah.
Like all the time, every tournament, every open qualifier, we were playing these guys. And I'll tell you now, I saw this guy do some ungodly stuff
Yeah.
on Jet. I watched this
Crazy.
guy farm an epic LAN. I've always believed in Leah's talent. I really
Yeah.
think like just raw talent wise, he's super good. For me, all Leah needs for that next step is some like good coaching. He just
Yeah.
needs guys that can really kind of just show him the way, kind of help him with a few things, and he can get there. I really believe that. So I think this is a really good team for him to kind of cook on in 2023 if he wants to start getting like franchise eyes looking at him.
Yeah.
I also think Future is probably the guy to do that. He had a lot
Yep.
of success in MENA with Rad.
Yeah.
I also know he's like a relatively respected coach in the Spanish circuit from my understanding. And so I think, you know, if there's anyone that can kind of like bring out Leah's talents, it's a good coaching staff, and I think hopefully they should have this. Also, quickly, like I know a little bit Fall and Roxy because I watched them on Case at different times,
Yeah.
and Roxy for me I always really liked. It's kind of like really good review till like that kind of player, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
kind of like what Ulysses said, he's not gonna frag out and destroy your game, but he doesn't need to. They've got Leah to do that.
Yeah.
And what Leah needs is a guy that can support him in a way that enables him. And I think for me, Roxy's that guy. So I like this team. Now, do I see this team playoffs? Probably not. But that's not because of the lack of talent on this team. It's because the Spanish VCL is actually pretty stacked.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit just of I think a little bit of an experience gap between these guys and some of like the when you look at the very top clubs. But I think let's say they can carry this roster into 2024, or at least like a strong core from this roster,
Yeah.
then I think we'll start to see a team that's really contending for you know Spanish Championship.
I keep hearing rad, and every time I hear it, I get PTSD from Ascension play-ins. But what are you thinking, man?
I think there's a lot to be said about what Bambino put for Leah. It's for me, like the mechanics are something that you simply
Yeah.
cannot doubt with this guy. It's more the mental side of the game and making sure that you've got that experience around you, that you're going to be able to excel in those moments. And to be honest, if you look at his track record, especially in Tier 2, it's an incredibly positive one.
Yeah.
People will always see Lear as this young player, but he has been around almost since the inception, playing at a high level. He played in Spain originally, made quarterfinals, then France also made the quarterfinals, came to Polaris, and he won that first game against LPB. They placed third with HS Deer. And again, it feels like another player that got a little bit robbed, and I know he'll be watching this video as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, then jumped into Italy to play for a split due to sort of opportunities and what he had at the time. I think he was there with Nile too. Didn't pan out, but the ceiling for this roster is a lot bigger. And in terms of having those people surrounding you and creating the environment, which I think he really needs to thrive, because if he can lock in and have you know that strong foundation, then this is a guy that should be looking to become one of the top talents in EMEA on a challengers level, and then pushing towards VCT. And Roxy and Fall, from their prior experience at Case, would be those people. Uli's already talked about the logistics and perhaps what that ends up looking like in the server, and it's not something I can comment on too much, but I do know for a fact that this guy has so much potential, and it would be a real shame to see it wasted, so hopefully he can make the most of it this time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much we've spoke about Lear in the past. Like, when he went to Italy, I genuinely thought he was going to rip it up. Like, it was like when Ronaldo went to Italy. Like, you know what I mean? This is going to get clipped, and I know everyone's going to start calling Lear Ronaldo or something. I know what the UK community's like, but genuinely, like, the fact that we didn't see that, I was actually quite upset, and I really want to see Lear do well. So let's hope that it comes forward in the Spanish league.
I mean, he had his moments, right? But I think in the Italian league, if you're not playing on like one of the two teams that's just bulldozing because they have all of the Italian talent players, you know, like Caden, Tag, all of that, then you're going to struggle. And it's just about those disparities. So that's why it's really nice to see Spain, for example, because we do have a pretty tight-knit top 5 right now in my eyes. And I think these should be one of those teams that are trying to push that envelope a little bit, but also I don't know what side of the coin that ends up being.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting where ZETA end up falling. And now we start to head towards the last two teams. We'll go to UCAM first, and we have some pretty nice imports, in my opinion. I'll go to you first, Uli. What are you thinking about UCAM's changes here?
To be honest, I think the first swap was much better. I mean, I think Link is someone that is going to bring a lot of experience. He's really good. But Grubinho is sick.
Yeah.
I mean, Grubinho that is going to, I don't know. Bambino, do you know where he's going, Grubinho?
I don't know. I don't know where could he go.
I don't know where he's going, but anyways, Grubinho is a sick player. And I think it was much better roster with him. But they're bringing someone. I mean, the bad thing about it is that Grubinho is going out of the team with not enough time to try to make any swap. So Link is getting without tryouts. It's a blind bet that you are going to go on Link because he's an experienced player. He's a good smoker. I think he's going to be someone that can make the players grow up with him. Link is great. And also, ZETA is a good individual player.
Yeah.
I mean, both of the swaps are great. And I have to say, I think people is not talking enough about him. I think Thinky is a great coach. He's someone that is bringing 2 times Team Queso into finals. He's a smart guy. He's also someone that is helping the players to grow up. Mini Boo that right now is playing on Heretics. The first time he was competing was on Arctic. His first season wasn't that bad, but he grew up a lot with Thinky. I think Thinky deserves much more recognition about his job, and I have to say it.
There we have it. Bambino, Thinky, what are you? You're obviously in the coaching mindset. Is Thinky up there in your ratings?
Yeah, so I've actually heard like firsthand really good things about Thinky.
Yeah.
I don't know the guy personally, but I've heard very good things. And as a coach, what players say about you is always like the most important.
Yeah.
And there's no better reference than a player that's worked for you. And I've heard very good things about him. And the other guy I want to speak about is Link. Like anyone who's played with Link at all knows exactly how good he is for your team and your environment. The man, like he puts a smile on your face like 2 seconds into joining TeamSpeak. He's just like the nicest guy to be around. And honestly, those are the guys that you kind of need on your team because seasons are long, you know, and you spend a lot of hours together. And not only that, he's an exceptionally experienced Sentinel. He's played on multiple international lands. Sorry, not Sentinel, Smoker. He's played on multiple. He's played a bit of Sentinel, but you know he's played on multiple international lands. I think he's a really good pickup, especially for the short amount of time they had. To find someone, I think it's a bit criminal. Link didn't have a team before this, to be honest. The other guy I'll speak about quickly is Famsi. For me, Famsi's one of the best duelists outside of VCT this year. I think Famsi is super good. I really enjoy watching him play. I think he's really, really talented. And I think especially with a coach like Finky, for me, I'm saying it, these are my winners. These are my Spanish winners right here.
Ooh.
Big,
I like it.
Big statements. I mean, one name that always shone out to me was uLISES. I mean, watching him on that GTZ roster was incredible. What are you thinking with them coming into UCAM now and now being the main man?
Yeah, there's a lot of people I want to talk about on this roster, to be honest. I think I'm qualified to do so. I got the UCAM colours on as well, which is nice. And something else I have to say, well, I don't know much about him. I think he's a bloody good name for a coach, isn't it? The guy is definitely thinking. But yeah, like Uli said, Link coming in is a blind bet. Whether he's better than Grubinho or not, I don't know. If Link is a blind bet, I need someone to gam stop me because the guy, for me, is a $1 million player. I think genuinely, like you could not ask for a better guy to have in that role. I know Bambino sort of tumbled over the words a little bit there and said he'd played Sentinel. The guy's played every role under the sun, for goodness sake. You could throw him at the wall and he'll find a way to stick. A lovely guy as well. I just can't sing enough praises for him. And with the first game under their belt today already, you can see exactly why he's valued so highly and had some honestly decent trials and was unlucky not to sort of land somewhere where he had that time to gel in. But I think now he'll look good for it. uLISES, like you mentioned as well, I think he's an interesting player because in terms of his agent pool, he plays the Sentinel and you'll see him on Killjoy predominantly. But if they want to run a double duelist here with Famsi on a Jet perhaps, he can also pull out the Raze and is pretty good on it as well. So yeah, there's a bit of flexibility there. The core that already exists with Quick and Flickless, these guys know exactly what it takes to play at this level. Hopefully they can kick on further than a semi-final this time. And yeah, Famsi is another one of those players which is on that long list of quality duelists that we've got on our hands in challenges. So from front to back, like, yeah, this is a top 2 team in my eyes. You've already seen them play who I would probably have put top 1. So honestly, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. They look good.
I mean, they've already started to put up the goods as well. Second in the Crossfire Cup. We won't talk about it, Bambino. Don't worry, mate.
I can't. I'm going. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
Well, we've got one last team, and I think it's the big dogs. We'll leave the best till last, as always, here on Challengers Patch Notes. It is KOI Esports. Uli, what are you making of the changes that these guys have made?
What can I say? I mean, they're bringing some talented players. I mean, Wolfen is a sick player. For me, is someone that could be competing right now on BCT. He doesn't deserve to get demoted, to be honest. I think he's a good player, and he only have to pop up one more time and try to get into an environment that is bringing him into the correct role, Bambino, and not into duelist. Lowell is a good player. He used to compete on the best level on CS. He's so smart. He's a good player. He's someone that is bringing experience. Also, you are keeping Yuri and Kiles. And for me, one of the good things, they're bringing a really good duelist. I don't know who is best, Lime or Lear. I'll let you answer. But to be honest, both of them are sick. Both British duelists. I mean, to be honest, they're so freaking good.
I mean, the incredible thing was like when Lime got dropped from Focus, the like testimonials that came out after it was dropped was like incredible. Obviously, like with Pal and stuff like that, like Pal was upset to have to let Lime go and in favor of the DAC move. So I mean, KOI have picked up an absolute gem in that front.
Yeah, I mean, for me to just quickly touch on Lime as well, I think if you want to make comparisons between him and Lear, one thing that he does have about himself is that, he has that experience. He's played in some really big games. He was on Angry Titans when they had VRL finals before as well, people will forget. He's played Duelist. He can also play Killjoy to an extremely high level, so him and Wolfen can take turns for my sake. Like, who really cares? They'll do both. And in terms of roles, he's like super flexible too. He's going to throw a Euro in there if you want to maybe play it. He's going to give it a damn good go, and he's got a good attitude for it too.
Yeah, do you know what? I'll go to Bambino next, right? But I have to apologise, mate. You've turned into a bit of a Berlin toilet punching bag here. Like, what?
Real ones know.
Yeah, real ones know, mate. Owner, I think I'm going to come to you with the name Owner, because like that alone, if you take away the rest of the roster, I feel as if is an absolute screamer of a pickup.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's got prestige, right?
Yeah.
He's everyone remembers the crew run, right? That was him. And so for him to come all the way over from Argentina to come and coach this team is huge. You know, and I think he's a very unique coach with a unique style.
Yeah.
That some players respond really well to, some might not. But if he has a team that really buys into his philosophies, they'll do really, really well. And so you have a coach with pedigree, you have an org with pedigree. Let's not forget KOI have dominated VCL Spain for a long time since my boy Gokid was there. And so this should be the best team in Spain, right? Like, it's the org with the money, it's the org with the coach. And I have to touch on Wolfen. I have to do it. I will say I believe Sentinel is the role for him. I'm happy Kase picked him up as a Sentinel and not a duelist, and I think that's where he'll really shine on the Killjoy. If he can kind of put in a bit of work, learn the Cypher as well, that's where he will shine, and he will shine. They'll also have the chamber option now as well with Wolfen. People forget, but Wolfen was one of the best chambers in Europe in his heyday, and everyone kind of forgot about that after last year when he was playing Jet and stuff. But I tell you now, if Chamber comes back, if Outlaw, makes Chamber come back, this is your man. And he will farm. If there's one thing Wolfen does, it clicks heads, mate. And so I'm very happy to see this guy. I'm really happy that he's found himself a good team and an Ascension caliber team. The second guy, I know you guys have already touched on him, but like for a long time, Lime was the boogeyman of EU scrims. I have to tell you, like my players would load up prac.com in the morning, they'd see Angry Titans and they'd all just sigh. Because they knew Lime on Raze was dropping 30 kills. It was death taxes, Lime 30 kills. And that was that. And so, I've been looking at this guy for a while, and I can't say anything you guys haven't already said. He's fantastic. I think he's a great pickup at Duelist. It's a shame the focus roster didn't pan out how we thought. But I think he's also here. And the other guy that no one's talking about is they have a champions winner on this team. Remember,
I was gonna say it.
Won champs with Ascent. You know what I mean? You can't ask for much better big stage experience. So yeah, this team is definitely top 2. For me, it's just between them and UCAM on the day who shows up. And I know I predicted UCAM previously, but it really could go either way. And I really look forward to watching more of, especially those two teams play each other, because that's an absolute quality game.
As a bit of addition, I think that probably this is gonna be the best year for Killers. I think Killers is coming back.
Hopefully.
I mean, Killers
2021.
I think so. I think he's gonna be much better than 2021. I think it's gonna be. I mean, Killers. I know Killers for a long time. I mean, he is a good friend of mine, and I think his needings is to have a coach that is gonna be so hard on him. I mean, Onur is not someone you can piss off. Onur is someone that is gonna say to you, you have to play rankeds, and I don't fucking care about anything. You're gonna play rankeds, and you're gonna keep grinding this game. And if Killers has someone pushing him hard like this, Killers is gonna bring his best level. I think 2024 is gonna be a good year for Kase. Having Wolfen, Lime, plus Killers, Yuri, and Lowell, I expect them to be one of the teams fighting for the promotion.
I think to sort of just like add on to what Uli was saying there as well, and I'm glad that he mentioned the context of Killers needs someone like that, because they won champs, but I don't think that was, and obviously if you win it doesn't really matter, but performance wise I don't think that was necessarily the best tournament that he ended up having, and he got quite a few critics from it. But at this level, like, the guy has such a great mind for the game as well, brings a lot of good ideas. From speaking to like Foxy and Patty when they were still on this Kase team before the changes came in, they spoke very highly of him as a player. He's incredibly underrated at this level. And again, Honor, I know a few people involved with the Leviathan setup, and he is firm but fair, incredibly strict on the players, but will get the absolute maximum out of them. He was a huge driving force behind the reason why we saw them pick up loads of form. What happened to Crew? It was when he left that they started dropping form in terms of those results. So I think that this could be a really nice pairing, and just adding Lime into the mix as well just makes it brilliant.
A little bit of zest, mate. A little bit of zest for the occasion.
A little squeeze.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I think, like, if there's any way to start off the like kind of improving last year in terms of Ascension 9s and 10s, I think, like, if they get there, they've definitely got the quality to do so. And with that, guys, we're done. We're back to the 4-cam.
Wow.
I mean, it's mental how quickly time flies. We're just about to hit the 50-minute mark, but it's been an absolute pleasure. What's Hazza shown us?
I have a last-minute surprise for you. You can wrap up the outro while I'm gone.
Okay. Thank you very much. Well, Hazza's a way to get his whatever he's getting. I'll leave it to you two guys. I'll go to Uli first. Give us your socials, mate. Tell us where to find you, and I'll link it down in the bio below as well.
Do not worry about it. I mean, first of all, thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure for me to have the space to talk also in English. It's something that I have to keep improving and try to give my best. Just see you around on every single cast. I will be there on Spanish.
Yes.
If you hear someone getting crazy, screaming a lot, saying 4K, 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 KK, or brrr, or it's definitely me. I'm the crazy one.
I'm glad we got an early howl before we finished off. Bambino, I mean, I'll let you do the honors.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for having me again. It's always good to practice my Spanish. It's at Bambino VL on Twitter. Give me a follow. Make sure you watch the KOI games. Yeah, we're gonna underdog some people this year.
Oh.
And yeah, it's always fun to talk about the VCL Spain. It's the one I enjoy watching very much.
Yeah.
So always happy to talk about it.
Great. I was just going to say, just before we let Hazza say what he was going to say, I love how Uli said that, like, oh, I like to practice my English when he speaks probably better English than me. So that's all I'll say. Bro, your announcing and stuff was incredible in VCT. And
Thank you.
And long may it continue. And with that, Hazza, I'll let you show us your surprise and sign things off.
I was worried I wasn't going to be able to find it for a minute, and as
Oh.
much as I love some of the British boys that we've got in the league, Forza Barça. Hopefully we see some
Hala
more
Madrid.
from them. Vamos.
Right, and with that, everybody, that has been
Ankara KPZ.
the Challengers Spain Rising. Thank you everybody for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like the episode, and tune in for more as we're going to go through every single Challengers League. Thank you to our guests. Thank you to everybody watching. Goodbye.